In 2023, the Department of Energy Security and Net Zero, bit of a mouthful, DESNZ, pushed through a number of changes to ESOS. I think they went through in September 23. 9 of them caught my eye, of which 2 are really major. And they're broadly energy action plans and progress reports and who has to report ESOS, whether you can let your lead assessor do it, whether you have to do it yourself. The second one of those, who has to report, I've covered in a different video. It is a big change and there's lots of sort of implications of that, but that's a separate video. Search for that under Carbon College, I'm sure you'll find it. The first change is the one I want to concentrate on this video, okay? And this is kind of new. This is coming through in 2024. It is a mandatory requirement, so, everybody will be doing it, but no one's done it yet. So, what actually happens and what goes into the portal for the reporting purposes, no one knows yet. It's just too early. But I thought I'd tell you about the requirement that exists. This is a legal requirement. You must do this. This will apply to all companies that fit the ESOS kind of criteria, which broadly and simplified is if you've got more than 250 staff, number one. Number 2, if you've got revenue and balance sheet in the tens of millions, and if you want, you can look up or I'll tell you the exact numbers, but in the tens of millions. Or thirdly, you're part of a bigger group and someone in your group, okay, meets the criteria. Okay, now that happened sort of 2 weeks ago. There was an international company said, this group in the UK don't have to do it, they don't qualify. Yes, they do, because this bit over here did qualify, okay? Enough of that, that's in other videos if you need it. Now, the one I want to concentrate is energy action plans. This was introduced for ESOS Phase 3. You must, by law, produce an energy action plan and file it by December 24, okay? Notice that the deadline for compliance used to be December 23, it's now been pushed through to June 24. So they are different dates. So just be a bit careful of that. So the date you need the energy action plan done by is December 24. In the action plan, you can take one of 2 routes. You can either say, we're taking no action. So you can actually file. You do have to file. You do have to put a submission in and it has to be signed off by a senior director. But you do have to do something. But you could put a plan together that says no action, okay? Now, why would you do that? I mean, A, it's easier. So, what I'm about to explain with the energy action plans, there's a lot of work in there, but it's certainly easier. But it depends on what you want your company brand to look like to the outside world, because the energy action plans and the progress updates that have to be issued every year, saying how you've got on with those, are public information. So if you've got a brand, a couple of my companies are they're large. A couple of my clients are very large. I mean, they turn over 1.2, 1.3 billion, but you would never heard of them because they just do things under the radar. They're family owned. They've got a specific niche in the market. They know who their customers are. The customers know them. And that relationship, I don't think is going to change regardless of any energy saving or not measures that are published on ESOS. So for them, their brand is not very important. Most of my clients, the vast majority, the brand is important and the public perception of that brand is super important. And therefore, if you took the route of saying energy reduction measures or energy action plan, no action, then, well, what does that say to the outside world? It kind of says, well, look, we don't care. And that, as I say, for a lot of people is absolutely not what they want to be saying. So for the vast majority of people, we will be filing an energy action plan that has some substance. In the energy action plan, you have to put in 7 pieces of information, okay? And it's broadly by, who, what, why, where, and when sort of thing. But in detail, it's what you intend to do, when you intend to do it by, who told you to do it, i.e. was it your ESOS lead assessor or did someone else tell you that it was a good idea? What the savings are likely to be over the period of ESOS, what you intend to save during ESOS Phase 3, which is, as I say, it's broadly between December 23 and December 27, so a 4-year period, what the savings are likely to be. And then 2 killer ones, and it's the ones at the end that really get you. It's the calculation methodology used to arrive at that sort of estimate of your savings, and also what the source data was that drove that decision. The examples that I've looked at so far from DESNZ are detailed. Each of the measures explained runs to 3/4 of a page or a page. So it's not along the lines of we're going to put in LED lights, it's going to be great, and Steve told me. It's not like that. Detailed calculations, detailed sort of explanations of where you got your source data from. That is what you need to put into the energy action plan. I do think there's quite a lot of work because of the calculation methodology and the source data requirements, and actually getting that right. The energy updates that you have to do every year thereafter are similar to that, but they introduce some other components. From what I've seen so far in the published legislation, 3 additional components. The first is the savings achieved against your targets. In the energy action plan, you say you're going to do this, 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 and this, and the next one down is, well, what did you achieve? Okay, both in the year that you're talking about, so in the reporting year that you're publishing the update, and also what's left of that ESOS phase 3. Now, I'm just going to flip across here. This is the Anistic platform, because this is where, if you're an Excel whiz, good luck. I hope it goes really well, but you're starting to come out of the realm now where Excel is going to cope with this. It's just too much data, too much information. So if you've got a portal, like the Anistic portal that we're looking at here, or maybe you've got a different one, whatever it is, you're going to have an area like this of projects that you have sort of declared to your team that you're working on it, or your team have decided, not declared, it's probably the wrong word, but the team have decided these are the ones you're going to do. Each project in here will have dates, times, who's going to be doing it, etc. And that will relate back to all of the energy and carbon that, of course, the system already knows about. So what that will allow you to do is, when you look at your targets, it will allow you to sort of categorize your projects down here and see exactly how much you're looking to save. And the information that you need for the energy action plans is largely going to pop out of the portal, okay? Again, this is something I would not recommend you do on Excel. It's just too complicated. There's too much going on. In summary, wrapping up, the energy action plans are coming. They're mandatory. You have to do them. The updates each year are also mandatory, and both of those have to be signed off by a senior director who takes responsibility for them. And thirdly, you need to start planning now about what goes into the energy action plan, so that all of the calculation and source data sort of methodology statements, whether the portal is generating that or you're doing it yourself, but you can prepare that yourself and get that prepared, ready for submission in December. Okay, where are we now? We're in Q1 24, so there's plenty of time. Is it going to change between now and December? I don't know. I don't think the legislation would change. I've seen no notification that's going to happen. But the guidances around this certainly, I think, probably will change. As people start doing it, the Environment Agency or DESNZ will look at it and go, well, this is going well, this is not going very well. They're a good group of people who switched on sort of cookies. They'll take a look at it, see what's coming through, and they will react accordingly. But the bits I've just said, I don't think will change. The who, what, why, where, and when that goes in the action plan, and the requirement to do an action plan, and the requirement to do annual updates, I don't think that will change. Okay, so I'll do further videos of this, and when the Anistic platform, when we've got that up to a sort of a state where I can show you an actual energy action plan produced by the system in the format they want, I'll certainly do an update video of that, and we're working on that right now. So that's kind of work that's going on behind the scenes. But look, I hope that was useful. If you have any questions on ESOS or SECR or science-based targets or LCAs or CSRD or CBAM or any of the other acronyms that we kind of deal with in our world, do let me know. Just pop me a message, and if I can help, I will. Okay, see you next time.